The Call Me Master box set is a brilliant and interesting look at the Spy Master played by Sacha Dhawan in Series 12 and 13 of Doctor Who. When he was first introduced in Spyfall, this incarnation didn't really work for me. Sacha Dhawan is a great actor, but the character itself didn't grab my attention at first. He shines most in The Power of the Doctor, where he feels less manic and more controlled. My main issue with this version is that he can come across a little too focused on ideas and exposition, which sometimes leans into more comedy than menace. This audio, however, fits this criticism. They give the Spy Master a much more stronger balance between insanity and dark humor. The first box set is Inner Demons, which does a fantastic job exploring that balance. The first story, Self-Help, takes place shortly after his regeneration. It blends humor with more introspective moments. Here the Spy Master is trying to act like his usual self, building schemes and staying in control. But things don't go the way he expects. He's unstable, unpredictable, and not fully in control of who he is. That's what makes this story so engaging. It even puts him in a completely unexpected situation. Therapy. Watching him confront himself in that setting is both funny and revealing, giving real insight into this incarnation. It's an interesting story. It's an entertaining story with a strong supporting cast that highlights both the humor and instability of the Spy Master. The second story, The Clockwork Swan, is a murder mystery where the Spy Master poses as an investigator. We know he's the killer, which makes the story even more engaging. I also love when the Master leans into ridiculous disguises, and this story uses that perfectly. He manipulates the other characters, feeding them information while guiding the investigation himself. One by one, they're picked off, completely unaware of who's behind it all, until only one survivor remains, and that's when he reveals the truth. The moment he drops the act and exposes himself is incredibly effective, showing just how unhinged he really is. I especially like the ending where the lone survivor escapes, but he leads her with a final message promising that if they ever meet again, he'll kill her. The final story, The Good Life, is where things get even more interesting. This time the Spy Master arrives on an unknown planet governed by a force known as the Balance. At first he's curious, he wants to understand it, maybe even control it, but this incarnation lacks patience. Instead of observing from a distance, he embeds himself within the society, forming a connection with a young woman, Elta. As the story unfolds, it becomes clear that something is deeply wrong with the planet. People are suffering. The balance isn't as perfect as it seems, and his behavior begins to change. He grows more aggressive, more impatient, less willing to wait, and he doesn't try to truly understand the balance. He pushes, he interferes, and eventually he breaks it. He ends up destroying the very system holding the planet together simply because he becomes bored. And that's what makes the story so compelling. It highlights the most chaotic aspect of this incarnation. He would rather destroy something than take the time to understand it. And when people stand in his way, he doesn't hesitate to remove them.